Focus on results has helped me become less of a manager and more of a leader by, I think more than anything else, by giving specific tools and guidance for how to do that. So I think I'd always known that, or heard that I needed to spend more time on instructional leadership and less time on sort of putting out fires and managing the buildings. But I wasn't always sure what that meant. So for example, I knew I needed to be in classrooms more, but I wasn't totally certain about what did that mean. I knew I needed to be more focused on data and the use of data to guide instruction, but I wasn't quite sure how to do that. And so what's been really helpful is both the sort of initial process of kind of establishing a school-wide focus and then having that to go to look for in classrooms, so for example, and then secondly, having tools and protocols and work in relationship to data that focuses my time and makes it clear to me why I should be spending that time on instructional leadership, as opposed to on the very pressing things that can often pull at your time when you're attempting to run a building.
Working with focus on results has helped me to realize that if I was going to have a maximum impact on my students and on achievement in my school, that I was going to have to move from spending time away from my teachers and students to spending more time right in the classroom with those teachers and students. And that's one of the things that I liked about the coaching I received from Focus, is because they showed me how I could sort of create a hybrid, because you have to be a manager because you got to have positive climate in your building. But if you are going to move a school, improve instruction, improve achievement, have an engaging school, building resilient kids, that principals have to find a way to spend as much time as possible in classrooms with teachers and students. And that takes a focus. It takes making it a priority.
Focused on results has helped me really focus on instruction through the use of the rubrics. I think a lot of it has been the use of the rubrics and making sure that at least 50% of my day is really spent on instruction rather than those managerial items that a lot of times we get caught up in as principals. They eat your time away, and unless you set that time aside from the beginning to be focused on instruction and set the meeting, make the meeting, whatever the case may be, or walkthroughs, it's just really important to set the time aside.
Focus on results has helped me become more of an instructional leader, or maybe I should say learning leader, because I think that my focus isn't just primarily safety and security of the building. That's important, but the focus is on the learning that's going in the classroom, the student work. We've developed an instructional focus in the building with best practices, so all of our professional development is aligned with that. All of our resources are also aligned with our best practices and our instructional focus. So when I'm going into the classrooms, that's what my focus is. Based on the professional development, I'm looking for specific things in the classroom, and then I'm support for the teachers, so I'm able to give them feedback. So I see my role as there's this pressure support continuum. What are the ways that I can create urgency surrounding the instruction and the student learning, and then in what ways can I offer support and provide support through professional development, through feedback.
Focus on results has helped do a lot with moving from managerial to instructional. One of the things, this is my 4th year as a principal, so we're the 3rd year in Focus on Results. So for any novice principals, it's kind of like, here's the structure and the framework of your plan and your action. The big part for me as a shift is the priorities. When we looked at managing a building, you can manage it as wonderfully as you want, and it can operate as great. But if instruction is still mediocre, or instruction is still not at the rigor that it needs to be, it doesn't matter how the operations of the building run. So the big shift, and I mean focus on results, is the results is what determines whether you keep the sustainability of your success in your school. And at this point for principals, it is about the job. If you don't produce the results, you're not going to get anywhere. And again, you can have the cleanest building in the whole district, those are not the results they're looking for. They want those instructional results. So one of the biggest shifts that Focus on Results really pushed us to is look at your instruction and everything else will fall into place. The building is not going to fall apart, but if you don't have good instruction, you're not going to, you're just going to be a sitting duck. So really shifting that. And I think for the teachers, they saw you as, again, an instructional leader because you're in the classroom. You're not just managing arrival and dismissal. You're not just in the cafeteria during lunch. You really are an instructional leader that's there to support their work, not as a gotcha all the time, but it's there to support the work and really push it forward because they're the ones in the front lines and you want to be there, protecting them and giving them those safety nets so that the teachers feel successful. Because if anything, right now education is extremely challenging. And, if I go into a building and the principal, all they care about is the cleanliness or the procedures and they let me just do whatever in the instruction, things will fall apart and you won't sustain your success.